Okay, my name is Professor Christopher Imumalen, and we'll be looking at the course Fire Safety. Fire safety is a very, very important course. It's a very, very important certification that you, everyone that wants to work in any industry should acquire, because, for example, those that work in the safety department, security department, needs um, personnel with fire safety experience, because fire is one of the biggest, most dangerous accidents that should be prevented in any workplace. So a certification in fire safety would help the company to have an individual like you to help them mitigate against any thing that can lead to fire accident in the company. So we'll go straight to the course. This course does not make you a fireman, no, but it gives you that knowledge to have what it takes to understand what can lead to fire and how fire at the preliminary stage can be curbed. How to use fire extinguisher, how to use fire blankets, fire sprinkler machines, and the rest of them. It will give you that overview. It's very important to know. And how to evacuate staff during emergency, fire emergency, how to conduct fire drills, and the rest of them. What is fire safety? Fire safety is the practice of reducing the risk of fire through prevention, preparedness, and effective emergency response. That is fire safety. It's the practice of you reducing the risk of fire through prevention, through being prepared in case fire happens. What do we do? An effective emergency response. If it eventually happens, how do we ensure that lives are safe? This course will cover basic principle of fire service science, fire hazard and risk assessment, fire prevention strategies, fire protection system, fire extinguisher operations, emergency evacuation procedures, and fire safety laws and responsibility. Imagine you having a certificate in fire safety. That by itself would boost opportunities for you to work in safety department in any company that, for example, construction company, telecommunication, any company that is exposed to having fire emergency, because they now know that there's someone as you who can help them curb, train, prevent, and reduce as low as reasonable practicable fire incidents in the organization. So this class is going to be with three sections. We are having the first section now, and we're going to be having the next two sections after this section in subsequent class based on the timetable you have. Please, after this class, you should take your assessment, submit it, and also submit your attendance for this class. Is very, very important, so you can have those records, because it's going to form part of your grading for the issuance of the certificate. So why fire matters? Fire safety matters. Fire safety saves life. Remember, one of the very first things every company must do, company owners, is to ensure that those that come to their workplace go home better, not just the same. I'm talking about staff, I'm talking about customers, I'm talking about investors, I'm talking about everybody. Fire have killed a lot of persons. They are what's it called? Research that have shown that fire is one of the biggest damage, cause the biggest damage when it comes to company reputation and loss of life, catastrophe in any organization. Why fire matters, fire safety matters, is it protect properties, reduce injuries, minimize business interruption. Imagine if there's a fire incident, business might not go on again for the rest of so many years. Ensure legal compliance. We've seen fire accident happen. For example, there's a company in Ikotun in Lagos, an Indian company, I'm not going to mention names, plastic production company, where staff were working. And what happened is that the supervisor on shift at night locked the factory and went home with the key. Fire started, and when fire started, the staff could not escape. Everybody in that facility, hundreds of people were burnt alive. It happened in Ikotun in some years back in Lagos. Lagos State Safety Commission investigated the issue and saw that it was due to lack of fire safety persons at workplace, negligence, and a lot of things. And the company, I believe, was shut down and they had to pay huge amount of compensations to family, and I don't think they ever recovered from that incident. The goal of this course is to equip you with knowledge and practical skills needed to prevent fire, protect lives and property, and respond effectively during fire emergency. The third part of this section, we are going to do some practicals. Despite the fact that this course is more like an online program, we're going to do some practicals where I'll be showing you how to particularize some fire preventive procedures, and I want to see you also do that. Make a video and also send to me. Objective: at the end of this training, participants will be able to explain how fire starts. You need to know how fire starts, what leads to fire, what are the components of fire itself, identify common workplace and home fire hazard. Remember, in safety, if you are taking safety course, you should be able to know what fire hazard means here now. Conduct basic fire risk assessment. You will be able to conduct basic fire risk assessment is a big job. Some persons are paid massively to conduct fire risk assessment for organization as consultants. Select correct fire extinguisher. Correct. You must know which fire extinguisher should be used based on the type of fire that can happen in a particular workplace. You must know, so you don't use the wrong fire extinguisher for the wrong fire itself. Respond appropriately during a fire emergency. Follow evacuation procedure. Promote fire safety awareness. These are the objectives from the class. Let's look at the next, understanding fire. What is fire? Because if you are talking about fire safety, then we must understand fire itself. You cannot fight what you don't know. Fire is an enemy. Some people also call it a friend because you cannot cook without fire. But when it turns to become an enemy, it's massively disruptive. So we need to understand it. Like America will say that they bring their friend close, but they bring their enemy closer. So fire, let's see fire as an enemy. Then we need to understand it. Fire is a rapid chemical reaction called combustion that release. Is a rapid chemical. Fire is a chemical reaction. Why? Because it's a mix of 3 or 4 elements. 3 or 4 elements must come together for fire to happen. And the basic way you fight fire is to remove one of the 3 or 4 things that components fire. So once you're able to remove one, you have been able to extinguish the fire. So let's come back here. Fire is a rapid chemical reaction called combustion. Combustion in your science class in chemistry. For those that did not do chemistry, means that burning. Combustion means anything that burns with the aid of oxygen. You know what oxygen means? Oxygen is the air we breathe in. It's there, it's in the air. But it releases, when fire happens, fire releases what? Heat, it releases light, smokes, and flame. Fire occurs when 3 essential elements combine. We're going to get there. When fire happens, it releases what? Heat, light, smoke, and flame. Let me ask you a question. Drop it in the comment section here. What kills faster during fire outbreak? Is it heat? Is it light? Is it smoke? Is it flame? What kills faster during fire incident? Is it light? Is it heat? Is it smoke? And is it flame? Drop your answer in the comment section of this quiz, of this not the quiz, of this class. Then the second question I want to ask you now, also drop it on the comment section. What is the difference between smoke and flame? What is the difference between smoke and flame? Drop it in the comment section. I'm waiting. Put your name there. I'm looking at the names as you are writing it, and I'll be using it also to know my students' performance and to grade you. The next is the things that components fire. One, we have heat, the element of fire. It's called element of fire. Heat is one, fuel is another one, and the third one is what? Oxygen. These 3 things must combine together to form fire. That's why we call it triangle of fire. Triangle, one edge of the triangle you have heat, the other edge you have fuel, while the last edge you have what? Oxygen. But there is also a school of thought that says that fire has gone beyond triangle. It has become a tetrahedron. It's not covered in this syllabus, but let me just go a little bit advanced. It's called tetrahedron of fire. When there is a fourth element that also is involved in the cause of fire, in a way that even when one of the three is being removed, fire continues. That fourth element is called a chain reaction between the three elements, especially when a radioactive element is burning. When a radioactive element, when magnesium elements are burning, you cannot just quench it by removal of heat, fuel, or oxygen, because it will have formed a chain reaction and there will be a bombardment on that chain reaction in a way that even after removal of one, fire continues. Just like a bomb. You remember the bomb that was released during Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1946. The person who threw the bomb, the pilot, looked back from the fighter jet, and when he saw the enormous heat that was produced, the enormous energy produced, the trauma of that sight killed him after some days. He died just by remembering what happened. That hydrogen bomb was created based on the law of Albert Einstein. E is equals to mc squared. And even Albert Einstein wondered the enormous energy that was produced from the hydrogen bomb. Ever since that period, hydrogen bomb has been under strict regulation, because up to date, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, nothing living grows there. So that brought about the bond between the US and America and Japan, just to create a friendly relationship after such bombardment. No, we are going a little bit far from the topic. Let me come back to where we are. Heat, fuel, oxygen. Heat is ignition source, electrical spark, friction, open flame. Fuel is the thing that is burning. The paper burning, the wood burning, the gas burning. And we have oxygen, is the air that contains 21% of oxygen. Oxygen support. Removal of one of these three extinguish fire. And we will be looking at the tetrahedron of fire. Oh, I mentioned this, that the fourth is what? This lead to fire tetrahedron, a four-sided geometric model representing the four ingredients required to start and sustain fire. I mentioned that. So let us look at. So there's a chemical reaction, a chain reaction that causes a tetrahedron of fire. And to stop this type of fire, you must stop the chain reaction, not just removal of one. So we'll be looking at the last slide. Believe me, we have 3 sections. I'm going to be stopping at this section. I know this class, for those who have joined, you would have learned some things, especially from the story I'm sharing here. And we'll be having more time to talk in the second class. We'll be looking at some of these things and some of these. We want our students, you, to be a very good fighter. You won't be trained to be a firefighter, but at least have that knowledge to understand fire, to understand emergency evacuation, to understand the cause of fire, what fire is, and how to extinguish fire. So let's look at this. We have types of fire extinguisher. We have different type of fire extinguisher. If you look at it here, we have the powder, we have the foam, we have CO2, we have water, and we have the wet chemical powder. And if you look at this table properly, you will see what each of these fire extinguishers should be used for. The fire extinguisher wrapped blue, which is called the powder, can be used for fire from wood, paper, solid fire, grease, yes, but you cannot use it for cooking oil or fat. The foam fire extinguisher cannot be used for magnesium, aluminum fire, electrical fire. We're going to talk about electrical fire in our next class. Cannot be used for cooking oil. The CO2 cannot be used for wood, paper, solid fire. Cannot be used for magnesium fire. Cannot be used for cooking oil. The water cannot be used for all except wood, paper, clothes, that is a solid fire. The wet chemical can only be used for cooking oil, animal fats, and cannot be used for others. Knowing the fire class helps in selecting the correct fire extinguisher. This is where we're going to stop for today. We'll be having more classes in our next section. We have 2 other sections, and I believe the other 2 sections will be enough for us to cover what is important. Please answer the quiz, submit your attendance, and have a wonderful day. Bye.